Shining on like a diamond in the sky. Reach high and let your spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. Shine on, you were born to light up the night. In the depths of the night, when shadows try to dim your glow, remember you're a beacon, a guiding light. The stars echo, hold on to hope, let it fuel your burning desire. For in every challenge lies the spark of a brighter fire. So when the journey gets tough and the road seems long, just close your eyes, hear the chorus and carry on strong. With each step, with each breath, let your brilliance ignite.
Have you ever held back your true self because you were just terrified of how the world might react?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think everyone has.
Right. You know, that feeling where you have something to say or maybe a new side of yourself to show, but you just freeze. You worry that people might judge you or misunderstand you or find you somehow unworthy of their time. Well, welcome to the Living Well, Living Rich edition of this deep dive. Today, we're exploring a story that gets right to the heart of that exact human fear.
And it really is a profound, almost universal anxiety, the fear of being truly seen. We're looking at a piece of source material today that approaches this massive, heavy psychological hurdle with a surprisingly delicate touch.
Yeah, it really bypasses our usual adult defense mechanisms, mostly by presenting these concepts through a beautifully simple narrative. We're diving into the work of Dr. Shu Chen Hou. She holds a doctorate from the University of Bristol in the UK and is the founder of Kokoshungsan Ltd, which is a global digital education publisher.
Their whole mission is basically making knowledge simple, clear, and meaningful for everyday life.
Exactly. But our main focus today is a very specific book published under their Kokoshungsan Kids imprint in 2026. It's titled The Rose That Forgot to Bloom.
Right, and our goal with this deep dive is to extract the really rich philosophical framework hidden within this story. We're going to look at the anatomy of fear, the mechanics of resilience, and how the fascinating family history of the publisher actually provides a blueprint for how you can embrace vulnerability in your own life.
Okay, let's unpack this, because reading this book it's honestly like finding a profound philosophical text hiding in plain sight as a bedtime story.
It really makes you realize that the most universal truths are often the simplest ones.
Yes. To really grasp the power of the message, we have to look at the exact nature of the protagonist's fear. The main character, Lily, is a rose in a garden, but her fear maps perfectly onto the human experience of social anxiety and self-isolation.
Right, so let's look at her environment. The story takes place in this tranquil, very sheltered corner of a garden, and we're introduced to a character named Sage the gardener.
Sage, yeah, he's such a great figure in this.
He is. He has these weathered hands representing experience and a really deep kindness. Every dawn, he pads softly into the garden, careful not to disturb the silent rosebud tucked beneath the broad green leaves.
He brushes dew droplets from her emerald stems, right?
Yeah.
And he whispers to her, hoping today's the day she opens her heart.
Exactly. But Lily trembles at the very thought of it. She watches her sister roses unfurl their petals in the sunlight, and the text specifically notes that each time she sees this, she shivers with fear.
She is just absolutely terrified of revealing what the book calls her trembling vulnerability. She actively asks herself, what if the world found her fragile and unworthy?
Which is such a deeply human, intrusive thought. It's like the imposter syndrome of the natural world.
That's a perfect way to put it. And she's surrounded by contrast, too. I mean, we have Daisy the butterfly, who represents a completely different way of moving through the world.
Oh, Daisy is fascinating. She trails sunlight with her delicate wings, flitting from blossom to blossom. She's just dancing joyous loops with absolute childlike innocence.
Right. And Daisy lands on Sage's hand and asks the central question of the book, really. She asks, why must she be so frightened of blooming?
And this highlights Lily's internal struggle. Lily pictures herself open and exposed, and in response, she actively chooses to pull her leaves tighter. She creates what the author beautifully terms a tiny fortress against the unknown.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, and I actually want to push back on the framing here for a second. We're meant to see Lily's fear as a problem that needs solving. But, and hear me out, isn't Lily actually being kind of smart?
How do you mean?
Well, let's look at this practically. In the real world, exposing your softest, most vulnerable parts actually does invite criticism or hurt. The book even mentions her fear of curious insects that might test her softness and winds that might bruise her petals.
That's very true.
So why should she drop her defenses when her tiny fortress is actually keeping her safe? I mean, just basic risk management. She's avoiding pain.
Well, what's fascinating here is that you're hitting on the exact reason why human beings build defense mechanisms in the first place. They work.
Right. They keep you safe.
They do. If you build a thick enough wall, people can't hurt you. But we have to look at the psychological concept of opportunity cost. The distinction here is between basic biological survival and actually living a fulfilled existence.
Survival versus living.
Precisely. Yes, the tiny fortress keeps out the bruising winds. But, as Sage points out, it also keeps out the sunlight, the rain, the connection.
It's the classic trade-off. You're basically trading joy for safety.
Exactly. Sage explains that to bloom is to trust the world with all the tender parts of ourselves. When you maintain a tiny fortress, whether you're a rose or a person, you are in a state of chronic hypervigilance.
You're just exhausted all the time.
Right. You're expending all your energy holding those petals shut against your natural biological imperative to open. Lily is surviving, but she's stagnant. It's essentially a self-imposed prison.
We see this in human psychology all the time, don't we?
All the time. People who have been hurt build emotional walls. They think they are practicing self-preservation, but they're actually inducing emotional starvation. They isolate themselves from warmth and connection, which are frankly just as vital to human survival as avoiding physical danger.
Wow, that really reframes the entire concept of a defense mechanism. The wall doesn't just keep the bad things out, it actively traps the fear inside with you.
It absolutely does.
So if Lily is trapped in this state of emotional starvation, and she absolutely will not open on her own, how does the world around her try to help? Because, it is incredibly frustrating to watch someone you care about self-isolate.
It's incredibly hard, and we see two completely different approaches from Sage and Daisy here. They perfectly illustrate the mechanics of how we can coax people, or even ourselves, out of these entrenched states of fear.
Let's start with Sage. Notice the methodology he uses. It is entirely non-invasive. He doesn't pry Lily's petals apart.
Which is crucial. From a psychological standpoint, forcing someone into a vulnerable state before they are ready is catastrophic. It just reinforces their trauma.
Right, you can't just rip the Band-Aid off when it comes to emotional vulnerability. Instead, Sage focuses on environmental scaffolding. He provides the raw materials for growth, pouring a gentle stream of water at her roots, but he pairs it with cognitive reframing.
He brings her poetic wisdom. He recites this verse, in every bud there lies a world unseen, a chance to show the soul and share its dream.
He's actively trying to change her internal narrative. He uses natural metaphors, speaking of trees that have to shed their bark in order to grow, or rivers surrendering to the sea.
Yeah.
He's planting the philosophical idea that growth requires a shedding of armor.
Yes, he's giving her permission to change, establishing a baseline of safety. But cognitive understanding alone rarely changes deep-seated behavioral patterns.
Oh, for sure. You can read all the philosophy in the world and still be terrified to leave your house.
Exactly. And that is why Daisy's role in the story is so critical. If Sage is providing the quiet wisdom and cognitive framework, Daisy is providing the somatic experiential demonstration.
She's the active living proof. Daisy hovers, restless, and says, "Let me try. I'll dance before her, show her how beautiful it can be."
And she whirls into the morning sun, trailing sparkles of light. She physically demonstrates that bright wings carry no weight, only joy.
In human terms, this is social modeling, isn't it?
Spot on. We are social creatures, and we learn by mirroring others. When we see someone navigating the world with openness and joy, and more importantly, surviving it, our nervous systems register that data. Daisy is showing Lily that existing outside the fortress doesn't automatically result in destruction.
This is exactly like having two distinct types of mentors when you're stuck in a rut. Well, Sage is the seasoned philosopher, handing you dense, meaningful books, building your intellectual courage. While Daisy is that highly energetic friend who drags you out onto the dance floor to actively prove to your nervous system that the world isn't as terrifying as your anxiety is telling you.
I love that analogy. You often need both the intellectual permission and the physical proof to break out of a tiny fortress.
But even with all this gentle encouragement, Lily remains shut tight. The narrative shifts because gentle wisdom alone isn't always enough to spark change.
The inertia of fear is simply too strong sometimes. Gentle guidance is ideal, but it isn't always sufficient to break a deeply entrenched defense mechanism. Sometimes life just intervenes forcefully.
Yeah, the environment forces the issue. A sudden chaotic storm sweeps through the garden. The text describes fierce winds snapping young stems and icy rain pelting the petals of every bloom.
It's a moment of total physical devastation. Sage is hurrying to protect the flowers, and Daisy is battered by the gusts, having to seek refuge.
When it finally passes, the garden is just scattered in ruin, broken branches and crushed petals everywhere.
And in the middle of this wreckage, we find Lily, her tiny fortress held up. She is safe, though she is trembling, but this is the pivot point of the entire psychological arc.
It really is the turning point.
Daisy points out the critical lesson to Sage. She hovers near Lily and says, "Perhaps this storm taught her she needs more than water. You see how the world can be fierce, but without risk, you cannot know how strong you truly are."
Without risk, you cannot know how strong you truly are. If we unpack that, it completely dismantles Lily's entire risk management strategy.
Exactly. She thought her closed petals were the source of her strength. She thought rigidity was safety.
But it's just the illusion of control.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's about resilience. The storm is a metaphor for the inevitable chaos of life, illness, loss, failure, heartbreak. Lily realizes that staying closed didn't prevent the storm from happening. The icy rain falls on the closed buds just as hard as it falls on the open flowers. All her tiny fortress accomplished was ensuring she spent her entire life in the dark before the storm hit.
Wow. So she missed the sunlight, but she still had to endure the freezing rain anyway. That is a devastating realization.
It really is. And it leads directly to the concept of psychological resilience, or what some researchers call anti-fragility. True strength isn't about avoiding stress. It's about your capacity to absorb stress and adapt.
A closed bud is brittle. If a wind is strong enough, a closed bud will just snap right off the stem.
Exactly. But an open flower can let the wind pass through its petals. It bends. Lily realizes that true strength isn't hiding from the world. It's remaining open and adaptable in the face of it.
That shift in perspective is the final push she needs. It's not the storm itself that opens her. It's the realization of what she's missing by staying closed.
Right. The internal shift has finally happened.
That night, under a pale moon, she remembers Sage's gentle touch. She remembers Daisy's joyful dance. She literally feels the physical ache of longing for sunlight. She finally wants to taste the world more than she wants to hide from it.
So she draws a trembling breath and pushes a single petal outward.
The resolution is just beautiful. By the next morning, Sage finds her half open. Her inner petals are soft, pink, and, as the book says, trembling like hope.
I love that phrase, trembling like hope. She still has fear represented by the trembling, but she acts anyway. And the crucial outcome is that her worst fears do not materialize. The world doesn't crush her, it celebrates her.
Sage validates her courage, telling her that her vulnerability is the source of her true beauty. Daisy arrives in a swirl of color, telling Lily she has unfolded into the garden's heart. Lily feels taller. She knows there will be new storms, but she has finally tapped into her actual strength.
And you know, this entire journey from paralyzing fear to vulnerable blooming is not just a fairy tale. It perfectly mirrors the real-world philosophy of the book's publisher, Kokoshungsan Ltd, and its founder, Dr. Shu Chen Hou.
Okay, yes, let's get into the background here, because the connection between the narrative and the publisher's history is fascinating.
It really is a study in how core values translate across generations. The publishing initiative is inspired by a deep family tradition rooted in Taiwan, specifically the Yongsheng Herbal Pharmacy.
Wait, really? A pharmacy?
Yes, it was a long-established shop founded by Dr. Hai's parents, Mr. Hu Shu-san and Mrs. Peng Kai-feng.
So what does this all mean for us? How does a traditional Taiwanese herbal pharmacy connect to a modern book about a scared rose? On the surface, dispensing herbal remedies seems entirely different from publishing children's books about emotional intelligence.
I know, it sounds like a leap, but the connection lies in the underlying philosophy of how healing actually occurs. Traditional herbal medicine doesn't typically rely on aggressive, forceful interventions.
It doesn't amputate the problem.
Exactly. Instead, it relies on a holistic understanding of nature. It focuses on restoring balance, nourishing the root system, and gently coaxing the body's own vital energy, often referred to as qi back, into a state of health. It's the exact same methodology Sage uses in the garden.
Oh, wow, I see. So Sage wasn't acting as a surgeon cutting the flower open. He was acting as an herbalist, tending to the soil and the water, trusting the flower to heal itself when the conditions were right.
Precisely. Mr. Hou and Mrs. Peng embodied values of care, integrity, and a deep respect for the natural processes of growth. Dr. Hou took those exact same principles and applied them to the human mind.
That makes so much sense.
Right. Just as an herbal pharmacy uses nature to heal the physical body, Kokoshungsan uses storytelling and education to heal and empower the mind. They operate on the belief that you cannot force a person to become confident through rigid indoctrination. You have to create the right intellectual environment.
Their company motto is literally, knowledge changes destiny. Education changes the world. They're treating education as the soil and the water. They believe that learning should be simple, clear, and meaningful, exactly like the story of Lily.
They view education as the ultimate gentle intervention. Books and stories help us understand our own internal landscapes and imagine new possibilities for ourselves, much like Daisy modeling the joy of flight.
It's a remarkable synthesis of traditional care and modern emotional education.
The overarching goal of every book they publish is to illuminate minds and inspire positive change, carrying forward that legacy of nurturing growth that started in that traditional Taiwanese pharmacy.
Which brings us right back to the core message of Lily's story. Vulnerability is the ultimate gateway to growth. We all have that creeping shadow of fear. We all worry about the bruising winds of the real world.
Everyone must bloom in their own time.
Exactly. But as Sage observes at the end of the narrative, looking over the garden, each bloom teaches the world something beautiful. When you hide your unique bloom inside a tiny fortress, you aren't just depriving yourself of sunlight, you're depriving the world of whatever it is you have to offer.
The isolation doesn't serve anyone. The world actually requires the unique contributions of individuals who are willing to navigate the discomfort of being seen.
If you're interested in exploring how this philosophy is applied across other subjects, I highly recommend visiting Kokoshungsan.net. They have built an incredible global digital education brand there.
There's a wealth of learning resources waiting to be discovered. They focus on accessible learning, media literacy, character education. It's really impressive.
It is worth looking into how they structure their ebooks and educational content to reflect this ethos of gentle, empowering cultivation. Kokoshungsan.net, definitely go check it out.
It is certainly a distinctive approach to publishing, treating the reader's mind with the same care an herbalist treats the body.
Beautifully said.
As we conclude this deep dive, I want to leave you with a final lingering question to ponder long after we sign off.
Let's hear it.
We've established that Lily chose courage over fear, but only after she realized what she was missing. Take a look at the fortresses you've built in your own life, around your career, your relationships, or your passions. Are they protecting you from the storm, or are they just blocking out your sunlight?
Rise up, feel the fire in your chest. Chase dreams, put your doubts to the test. Raise your voice, let your spirit be free. No fear, no limits, just believe. Every stumble, every fall, just a chance to rise. In the darkest night, stars still light up the skies. You're a fighter, you're a force, don't you ever give up. Take a stand, make a mark, show the world your true love. Shine on, like a diamond in the sky. Reach high, let your spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. Shine on, you were born to light up the night. In the depths of the night, when shadows try to dim your glow, remember you're a beacon, a guiding light. The stars echo, hold on to hope. Let it fuel your burning desire. For in every challenge lies the spark of a brighter fire. So when the journey gets tough and the road seems long, just close your eyes, hear the chorus and carry on strong. With each step, with each breath, let your brilliance ignite. For you, my friend, were meant to shine on through the night. Rise up, feel the fire in your chest, chase dreams, put your doubts to the test. Raise your voice, let your spirit be free. No fear, no limits, just believe. Every Every stumble, every fall, just a chance to rise in the darkest night. Stars to light up the skies. You're a fighter, you're a force. Don't you ever give up, take a stand. Make a mark, show the world your true love. Shine on like a diamond in the sky. Reach high, let your spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. Shine on, you were born to light up the night. Rise up, feel the fire in your chest. Chase dreams, put your doubts to the test. Raise your voice, let your spirit be free. No fear, no limits, just believe. Every stumble, every fall, just a chance to rise in the darkest night. Stars to light up the skies. You're a fighter, you're a force. Don't you ever give up, take a stand. Make a mark, show the world your true love. Shine on like a diamond in the sky. Reach high, let your spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. You were born to light up the night. Rise up, feel the fire in your chest. Chase dreams, put your doubts to the test. Raise your voice, let your spirit be free. No fear, no limits, just believe. Every stumble, every fall, just a chance to rise in the darkest night. Stars to light up the skies. You're a fighter, you're a force. Don't you ever give up, take a stand. Make a mark, show the world your true love. Shine on like a diamond in the sky. Reach high, let your spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. You were born to light up the night. Shine on, you were born to light up the night. Shine on, like the spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. Shine on you, you were born to light up the night. In the depths of the night, when shadows try to dim your door, remember you're a beacon, a guiding light, stars echo. Hold on to hope, let it fuel your burning desire. Falling when the challenge lies, the spark of a brighter fire. So when the journey gets tough and the road seems long, just close your eyes, hear the chorus and carry on strong. With each step, with each breath, let your brilliance ignite. For you, my friend, were meant to shine on through the night.